Right now this morning, parents wondering what President Trump's plan to eliminate the Department of Education means for their children's schools, what local educators are saying about possible funding cuts.
Plus, we've got spring-like conditions today, but a little bit of light rainfall, not only this morning, but better into the afternoon. More about that coming up in just a moment.
And on Foodie Friday, the food label detective. Learn how to spot misleading nutrition claims with expert guidance from Hy-Vee dietitian Ruthie Chips.
This is News 8 Now, this morning.
Good morning, I'm Alexandra Carter.
And I'm Art Jarrett.
It is Friday, March 21st. We've made it to Friday. It's been a long week, and it feels like we've lived several seasons during this week.
Feels like it as well. Yeah, we had that vernal equinox kick in right there and brought us spring. In fact, we're going to hold on to spring-like conditions today, carrying over into a little bit of light rainfall starting this morning with a 50% chance for La Crosse. That started to look like it was going away, but now it's looking like it may come into fruition. Then again into the afternoon again. We're looking at about a 40% chance to kick into the forecast. That'll go all the way into the evening commute. Then we go into Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is going to be a pretty nice day, even though we have increasing clouds. We've got some sunshine coming back in eventually as we get into portions of Monday. But I tell you what, Sunday into Monday, it's going to be some rain and snow into the forecast. Eventually, some of that rainfall, some of that rain and snow will taper off going into Monday. It'll be a better looking day. Hey, how about this though? We've got that light rainfall, as I told you about, trying to get towards the Mississippi River. So going through the 6 o'clock hour here, we may have some of that, or even where the kids going to school. Most of the rainfall is well up along the northern tier of the United States, and then carrying into it, you can see the moisture associated with that. Still coming off the Gulf though, but drier conditions all the way as you move eastward away from Dallas, getting to Louisiana. There's more of that moisture and drier air working all the way into Atlanta. All right, how about this though? As we go through La Crosse, the planner will show you that 10% chance of rainfall with increasing clouds, 30s, 40s, and the 50s. We see that coming back again later on tonight, and then over into Eau Claire, you've got the clouds from partly cloudy to mostly cloudy to cloudy skies, finishing out at 54 degrees with more rain on the way for you. I'll have more about your forecast coming up for you in just a moment.
Thank you, Art. The Trump administration's Pentagon cuts intensify as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth cancels nearly $600 million in contracts and grants, with billionaire Elon Musk set to visit that agency today. This follows President Trump's move to start dismantling the Department of Education, fulfilling a campaign pledge. CBS's Jared Hill reports.
Amid the push to slash federal spending, today, President Donald Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth are set to meet at the White House. It's one day after Hegseth canceled $580 million in contracts and grants.
They are not a good use of taxpayer dollars.
Hegseth has confirmed Elon Musk will also visit the Pentagon today. It comes as questions remain about the impact of President Trump's executive order shrinking the Department of Education.
We're going to shut it down and shut it down as quickly as possible.
Though only Congress can eliminate the department. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy said he'll propose a bill, but multiple Democrats would need to sign on.
I hope they're going to be voting for it because ultimately it may come before them.
President Trump said crucial programs like Pell Grants, funding for children from low-income families, and special education services would move to other federal agencies. The change sparking protests and pushback. Meanwhile, a federal judge is accusing the administration of withholding information about 2 deportation flights that took alleged Venezuelan gang members to a prison in El Salvador. President Trump claimed the judge is trying to usurp the power of the presidency, calling on the Supreme Court to step in.
Yesterday, another federal judge temporarily blocked DOJ from accessing Social Security Administration systems that contain the sensitive information of millions of Americans, calling DOJ's efforts there a, quote, fishing expedition. Schools in Wisconsin rely heavily on federal funding. According to the DPI, Wisconsin schools receive more than $800 million in federal funds. More than $568 million of that comes directly from the Department of Education. This money supports critical services like disability programs and school meals. State Superintendent Jill Underly says without federal backing, state and local governments would likely need to fill the funding gap.
It would be devastating to Wisconsin's public schools if that funding were to go away. It may mean how else are they going to get that funding? Well, they have to go to referendum to replace what was lost.
Underly says federal funding makes up roughly 10 to 20% of school budgets. Republican State Senator Justin Eichhorn resigns after being arrested for soliciting sex from a minor. The Grand Rapids lawmaker stepped down yesterday when Senate colleagues threatened to expel him. Eichhorn was caught in a Bloomington police sting operation after he arranged to meet someone he thought was a 17-year-old girl. Police found cash and a condom in his car at the time of the arrest. The Republican senator, who often criticized Democrats for Trump derangement syndrome, now faces federal charges for attempted coercion of a minor.
As someone who is also known to talk and kind of as a role model for family values, and then have this be into such direct conflict with that, it leads to mistrust.
Eichhorn was ordered to remain in custody until space opens up at a halfway house. He's also forbidden from having unsupervised contact with anyone under the age of 18. Attacks intensifying in Wisconsin's Supreme Court race with control of the court at stake. Susan Crawford and Brad Schimmel are fighting for the seat that will determine whether conservatives regain the majority. Both campaigns are now flooding airwaves with ads accusing the other of being soft on crime. The attacks escalating after Schimmel criticized Crawford in the WISN debate for sentencing a repeat child sexual offender to just 4 years. Crawford telling News 8 Now the convict hasn't reoffended and warned voters about Schimmel's record.
He entered a plea deal with a lawyer who was giving him $1,000 a month and whose client had thousands of files of child pornography. He agreed to a plea deal that was 1 count and the minimum sentence. I think that says a lot about Judge Schimmel's ethics and what's important to him.
Wisconsin Watch found the defendant's lawyer made monthly payments to Schimmel's attorney general campaign while the case was active. Conservative groups backing Schimmel claim Crawford is a liberal who threatens public safety.
We know that this is going to be a turnout election, so it's very important that, our voters are able to get to the polls and vote for Brad Schimmel. So, what is one way that we're able to do that? We're able to, essentially say that Brad Schimmel is a Trump ally, okay? A lot of, the policies that, Brad Schimmel stands for falls in line with the Trump agenda.
Schimmel has no control over the messaging outside groups send to voters. And in the debate, he said if Trump or Musk were to break Wisconsin laws, he would apply the law accordingly. Early voting in the spring election continues today. La Crosse voters can cast your ballot at UWL's Cleary Center from 10 to 2. Eau Claire residents can vote at City Hall from 9 to 4. Early voting continues through March 28th with the election on April 1st. And a quick reminder, News 8 is hosting a La Crosse mayoral debate tonight at 7. It's live in our studio. You can watch it on 8.2 and our digital platforms. London's Heathrow Airport is shut down today as crews work to restore power to the hub after a fire broke out at a nearby substation. The airport says it'll have to close for the entire day because of those fires. Flight tracking website Flight Radar 24 says at least 1,300 flights have been impacted and several flights originating from the U.S. have been canceled. The London Fire Brigade calling the situation a prolonged incident, as well as the Metropolitan Police Department. They are still looking for a possible cause. The National Transportation Safety Board releasing its report into last year's deadly collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. On March 26, 2024, the container ship Dolly endured a pair of electric failures minutes before it struck a pillar of the bridge. Yesterday, NTSB officials said the Key Bridge was above the acceptable level risk, but the owner of the bridge never evaluated that risk.
Had the MDTA conducted a vulnerability assessment of the Key Bridge based on recent vessel traffic, the MDTA would have been able to proactively identify strategies to reduce the risk of a collapse and loss of lives.
The NTSB also identified 68 other bridges in 19 states that don't have a current vulnerability assessment, including the Leo Frigo Bridge in Green Bay. We're learning more about that fatal employee stabbing inside of a Mankato Quick Trip. 28-year-old Michael Miller is accused of stabbing 34-year-old Dennis Vosica inside the store. We now know there was another employee in the store at the time. They escaped and called 911. Police say the suspect was a frequent customer.
It doesn't appear that they were known to each other, the victim and suspect, other than Mr. Miller was a frequent customer at Quick Trip. So they recognized him as a frequent customer, but there was no type of relationship between the two. It just appears to be a random act of violence, sadly.
Miller is facing second-degree murder charges. Snowmobile trails in La Crosse County could get a major upgrade. The county board approving asking the DNR for a $43,000 grant. That money would help maintain 146 miles of local snowmobile trails. It would also reimburse local snowmobile clubs who've been paying out of pocket for trail upkeep. Renewing your driver's license in Wisconsin could soon cost a lot more. Part of Governor Tony Evers' budget. It would go from $8.50 to $32.50. Vehicle title fees would go from $120 to $284.50. Evers says that extra money is needed to fix and develop roads. The hikes still have to be approved by the state legislature. And the governor visited the Ho-Chunk Nation Three Rivers House in La Crosse. Wisconsin Department of Veteran Affairs Secretary James Bond hosted a round table with Evers. They talked with veterans and community members to highlight key projects that support veterans included in Evers' budgets.
I do think that some of the things that we have in our budget will happen, whether it's expanding tax credits that will help, with financial issues, but mental health and making sure that that health is in a good place.
Governor Evers and Secretary Bond also visited the Veterans Outreach of Wisconsin facility. The time now is 6:12. Still ahead on your morning news. Trump invoking wartime powers to increase U.S. mineral production. A Facebook whistleblower says Meta is blocking her from speaking with Congress. And more than 46,000 Teslas being recalled for safety issues. And more Minnesota companies are facing devastating federal layoffs. Coming up, we'll take a look at the expected economic impact. And for now, we're leaving you with a quick look at London's Heathrow Airport. This, of course, where crews are continuing to try to restore power after a fire happened at the world's 5th largest airport. You can see the damage here. This happened after a substation nearby caught fire. That is the substation you're looking at now. The airport having to close for this entire day. We know that at least 1,300 flights are being impacted. Like we said, London is the 5th busiest airport in the world, a huge international hub, so this is going to have far-reaching impacts. Look like they are making progress on the fire, though. Stay with us. We'll have more updates coming your way after the break.
The Silverado Trail Boss. And a little work. And a little play. And a truck that says no to nothing. And Chevrolet.
It's Chevy Truck Month. Well-qualified buyers can get 2.9% financing for 72 months on this Silverado. Or get $4,350 total value. Plus, current Chevy owners can get $4,000 total cash allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle.
Growing up in Chippewa Falls, we had some tough times. My little sister was born with special needs, so I became her protector. And when my dad was laid off, we all had to step up. Along the way, I learned a lot about hard work, common sense, and most of all, what it means to look out for people. I'm Susan Crawford, and looking out for people is why I became a prosecutor and a judge. And it's what I'll do every day on the Supreme Court.
A new walk-in shower, safe and convenient.
A beautiful new entry door.
A lovely pergola or patio cover.
New windows that wow.
Your dream kitchen.
New siding to transform your home from old to new.
Whatever your plans, the 27th Annual Early Bird Home Show, only at the Board Store, brings you all of these at the lowest price of the year.
Visit our 8-building showroom on Copeland Avenue in La Crosse. Visit our website.
Call 608-782-8877.
The 27th Annual Early Bird Home Show, only at the Board Store. Don't miss it.
A 5-year-old girl violated. The predator faced up to 60 years behind bars. Radical Susan Crawford sided with him, released on a $500 bond, and lived across from a school. His sentence, just 4 years in prison. Now he's free, all because Susan Crawford and her warped, soft-on-crime agenda. Catch and release Crawford. Don't take the risk. Fair Courts America is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Hello, I'm Christy Halenka, Reading Program Chair at Viterbo University. Viterbo is proud to serve our area communities by providing programs that produce quality educators and leadership in our schools. Viterbo University is once again partnering with News 8 to recognize outstanding classroom teachers in the area. We look forward to working with generations of teachers and change agents for years to come. Do you know a top-notch teacher? Then go online to news8000.com or write to this address.
Every kid deserves a great education. As state superintendent, I helped pass a new literacy law, raised math and science standards, and expanded technical education. My opponent is a lobbyist who's never held a Wisconsin teaching license. She's worked to drain money from public schools to pay for private schools, raise property taxes, and eliminate teacher license requirements. I'm Jill Underly. I'll protect our public schools and never stop working to improve them.
Well, good morning to you and welcome back as we get into your local temperatures right now, holding on to some 30s, widespread to some 40s, seeing in Winona and also down to Prairie du Chien. We've also been seeing a lot warmer conditions farther south and working up to the north. It gets a little bit on the colder side, but it had changed a little bit from earlier this morning. It was warmer up to the north and then colder down to the south. Holding on to areas by Toma, heading out to Shelby as well. You're looking at 37 degrees, feels like it's 30 degrees out there, so we have a bit of a wind chill. Kids going to school today, 38 degrees for you with a little bit of light rainfall coming in on mostly cloudy skies. Then as we get into the afternoon around the 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock hour here, you're looking at a little bit of light rainfall, the windy conditions also in the forecast as well as this early morning. As you're going to see winds getting up to about 35 to 40 miles per hour, possibly in the forecast, 50 degrees for that chance of rainfall. You get to Eau Claire, you're looking at 34 going into the morning hours. A little bit of sunshine will work into your forecast, but feels chilly and breezy. Down to the south, though, or I should say down to the 4 o'clock hour, though, you're looking at 54 degrees, holding on to breezy conditions. In fact, that rainfall will be affecting you as well. Okay, so as we get into it here, you're going to see slowly but surely for the forecast for Friday. Kids will be in the cloud cover going into school. You'll see also in the afternoon, you'll be in some cloudier conditions, holding on to some 40s, eventually upper 40s, holding on to the forecast there for you for La Crosse. La Crosse should get around 50 degrees today, holding on to rainfall pop into the picture as we get into the 6 o'clock hour. And eventually Eau Claire will see some partly to mostly cloudy skies getting into cloudier conditions as we get into the afternoon. Rainfall pops in your picture as well as we head into the evening commute. You're looking at temperatures continuing to be in the 40s leading into your evening hours. Here's a look at the highs for today. For everybody else, you've got upper 40s, the low 50s in the forecast, possibly to the middle 50s in your forecast for your day. When I come back, I'll give you an overview of how this shapes up going into tomorrow. Stick around.
More Minnesota companies are facing devastating federal layoffs. Sophia Lober takes a look at more of the expected impact.
Minorca Mine will be completely shutting down, laying off nearly all employees, while Hibtac will shrink operations with about half its employees.
I think it's every emotion you can think. You know, they have families, they have mortgages, they have, you know, whatever gamut of payments they have. So, yeah, you're going to get some unemployment, but that's not going to last forever.
According to Cleveland Cliffs, the idles are temporary, but there's no date for when or if employees will return. Republican State Senator Rob Farnsworth says he's experienced the difficulty of layoffs firsthand as his father worked at Minorca Mine for decades.
And it's devastating, you know, to not know where your income is going to come from. I have friends and neighbors that work at Hibtac and that work at Minorca. So this is a scary time for a lot of people on the Iron Range.
Both he and Democratic State Senator Grant Hochschild say they'll be doing all they can to support employees.
Anytime you get economic news like this, it's always hard because these are people's lives. And our miners have been the backbone of the Iron Range for decades.
On top of larger economic factors and the decreased demand for cars, Union Representative Chris Johnson says those at Hibtac are facing extra uncertainty as the mine is experiencing reserve challenges.
Are these people going to be called back, or is this what Hibbing Taconite is going to look like for the future?
Regardless, he says the layoffs will be devastating.
It's more the benefits that we have, the pay we get. These people count on that. They live their lives by that, and it's going to be life-changing for some people.
And President Trump invoking wartime powers to increase U.S. production of critical minerals. He signed an executive order giving Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth the authority to use the Defense Production Act. By invoking that wartime power, the U.S. can increase production of uranium, copper, potash, and gold. The executive order also pushes to expand leasing and development on federal lands. A former Facebook executive turned whistleblower says Meta is blocking her from speaking with Congress about her experience. Sarah Wynne Williams detailed her experiences at Facebook in a new book, Careless People. Meta moved quickly to stop her from promoting or discussing the memoir. Wynne Williams' lawyer says that order is now preventing her from responding to requests from lawmakers around the world. Nearly 90,000 portable power banks are being recalled because they pose a burn risk. The VC Group MagSafe wireless power packs, you see it here, contain a lithium-ion battery that can overheat and catch on fire. They were sold on Amazon through October of last year. You should stop using the power bank immediately and contact the company for a replacement. That was a look at your consumer news. We'll send it over to Art now. He's got a look at our weather.
All right, that light rainfall once again is turning into a mix of rain and snow. You can see that down there right underneath my name there, holding on to the forecast there. Still taking its slow time, getting closer and closer to the Mississippi River. We'll keep an eye on that for you as we get into it, but it is, again, a lighter percentage getting into the forecast this early morning. Hey, Menominee looking pretty good out there. Feels like it's 32 degrees, and it's rolling at 32 degrees right now. Right back over to areas by Black River Falls, you get into the temperatures, 34 degrees, feels like 34, so the wind chill is backed off. Holding on to this forecast, the roadways look pretty good for you heading on out there, so please be careful as you're traveling today. Temperatures in the upper 40s, some low 50s in the forecast as well. We have a little bit of light rainfall with increasing clouds through the morning hours, carrying from at least partly cloudy to at least mostly cloudy to cloudy skies to finish out the day. Holding on to these clouds, you can see going through the morning hours into the afternoon here. Eventually, you're going to be seeing these clouds continue to stick with us through the day. Slowly but surely going into the noon hour, you're seeing that snow kind of moving in the forecast, getting closer to the northern areas along I-94, but also down to the south. That's where the light rainfall comes in. You see it splitting in two. Rainfall comes down to the south there, possibly getting to Rochester, Austin as well, working across the Mississippi to Winona, La Crosse, as well as Black River Falls, and kind of getting down to Sparta, sliding out with little light rainfall still up to the north, going from Ladysmith to Wausau. That continues on there, and snowfall associated with that as well, getting and kicking out all the way to Wisconsin Rapids. But it gets a little bit stronger. It's still light rainfall, but still kind of picks up a little bit more so by Wisconsin Rapids, getting into light to moderate, possibly heavier conditions going into Green Bay, where they're going to have a mix of rain and snow pushing out, going all the way into Oshkosh, and off to the river it goes. As far as this is concerned, as we finish out the day today, going into some good looking numbers here. For Saturday, we're also holding on to 39 to at least middle 40s. Cloudier skies will prevail for the better part of the day there. Holding on as we go through Sunday, we've got Saturday night coming in. We're looking at least some cloudier skies going to the overnight hours. Rain comes in, carries a big batch of rainfall associated with that as well as we go into Sunday, going to the early morning hours through sunrise and beyond. Then we got a second batch coming back again and kind of wrapping around with a third batch coming down of rainfall associated with that. Most of the snow stays up to the north from the Twin Cities all the way to Ladysmith and Eau Claire, and eventually you'll see that kind of kick out with more rain and a mix of rain and snow for Eau Claire by Sunday at 5 o'clock, with drier skies down to the south, and those winds continue to push that rainfall out of the area back to areas into the lake, and eventually you're going to be holding on to at least again cloudier skies coming into the forecast with again some snow in your forecast. As we finish out going into how this all plays out, we're going to be seeing the possibility of getting into conditions in the 50s to the 40s in your forecast. Be safe.
Thank you, Art. March Madness is finally here, meaning you may want to yell out those so-called bad calls or root for your favorite teams. Ahead, how you can protect your voice from getting fouled out as you continue to keep up on the tournament.
Coming up in sports, the Aquinas Blue Goats looked for redemption as they took on Mineral Point in the state semifinals. Plus, the Badgers trying to start the tournament off with a win. That coming up in the Morning Blitz.
Out-of-state special interests are trying to buy a Supreme Court seat for Susan Crawford. Why? Because Crawford supports their radical agenda, and I'm not okay with any of it. Let transitioning male teachers use my girls' bathrooms at school, allow boys to compete against them in sports, giving puberty-blocking drugs to children without parents' consent. That's who Susan Crawford sides with, and I'm not okay with any of it.
It's the Early Buy Outdoor Sale at Drury's in Fountain, Minnesota. Patio dining sets, sofas, and love seats, even loungers, they're all on sale. Take advantage of the biggest discounts of the year on outdoor special orders, guaranteed. It's the perfect time to get what you want the way you want it. Plus, we'll give you free delivery on your outdoor furniture. Want it right away? We've got all our favorites in stock at pre-season prices. Big discounts and free delivery on outdoor furniture at Drury's in Fountain, Minnesota.
Beware of getting mortgage information and mortgage rates online. I get a lot of home buyers that get their mortgage information online or get a pre-approval letter from a computer. I can tell you that talking to someone with over 30 years of experience, that everyone's situation is different and sticking to a lender that has my experience is important to your financial future.
Everybody's welcome at Firefighters Credit Union.
A 5-year-old girl violated. The predator faced up to 60 years behind bars. Radical Susan Crawford sided with him, released on a $500 bond, and lived across from a school. His sentence, just 4 years in prison. Now he's free, all because Susan Crawford and her warped, soft-on-crime agenda. Catch and release Crawford. Don't take the risk. Fair Courts America is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You earn trust by making a commitment and sticking to it and serving this community all day, every day. We work hard for this trust and love telling your local stories because we, like you, expect more.
Miss a story or need to watch it again? Find them all on the News 8 Now app.
Welcome to the Morning Blitz. 1 year ago, defeat left a bitter taste for the Aquinas Blue Golds after they relinquished a 7-point lead with under 30 seconds to play as they fell to Mineral Point. But the stage was set for redemption, this time with revenge on the mind of the boys from La Crosse. Blue Golds Pointers, the sequel. Boy, did this one live up to the hype. First half action, Pointers showing off their ability to shoot the rock. The kick out to Drew Ashleman knocks it down. MP up 6. Aquinas answering in similar fashion. Logan Becker gets the open look. He drills the triple to cut the deficit in half. The defending champs finishing the opening period strong though. Good take by Keaton Dempsey. Going glass for 2. Pointers up 31-23 at the break. But right out of the gates, Vincent Barr goes on a mini run by himself. Here's 3 of his quick 8 to give the Blue Golds a much-needed jolt of energy. And to no surprise, this one would get tight in the end. Under 2 minutes left, Trey Barr finds Finley Strome in the corner. He nails it. That gives Aquinas their first lead of the half, but it's not over yet. Becker's free throws no good. Mineral Point with a chance to tie, but the shot is no good. After heartbreak last year for the boys from Aquinas, this year, the opposite. They get the win in a thriller, 57-54. Let's go to Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. Wisconsin taking on Montana in the first round. First half action. John Tonje, step back 3, nothing but net. Badgers go up 9 later in the half. Now just a 5-point game, but Steven Krause showing off the range. He connects. Wisconsin would lead by 8 at the break. Let's go to the second half. Badgers would start to get hot. John Blackwell up the lane through the contact. Bucket plus the foul. He would lead all scorers with 19 points. A few minutes later, Corral kicks it out to Carter Gilmore from deep. That's good. Just 7 3-pointers for Wisconsin today, but that's because they were using their size and dominating inside. Xavier Amos on the roll. He throws it down. Let's take one more look at that one. Then with 3.5 to go, Crowell backing down the defense, gets inside and finishes. Wisconsin would pull away as they get the win 85-66, and they start the tournament off 1-0. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
Enjoy tax relief savings today at Home Furniture. Everything is on sale. Spend $9.99 or more and receive an extra 7% tax relief discount. Plus, take advantage of no interest for 1 year. Don't miss out on 7% tax relief savings going on now at Home Furniture.
I was in a very bad relationship. After that, I made it my mission to help people. Brad Schimmel really wanted to know, how can we help survivors? He got right in there with me and did the work that needed to be done. I know Brad, the person, and I know how passionate he is about helping people, women, sexual assault victims, children. He has made it his life's mission to help families. I know that about him.
This is the story about a little empathy. No matter where little empathy looked, it just couldn't find its place in the world, which was sad because it had so much to give. Then one day, little empathy made a friend. And the friend took it somewhere it would always be useful and appreciated. Welcome to a place where healthcare is all about caring. Amplify Health. A little empathy changes everything.
These are real people seeking solutions to real pain.
I have plantar fasciitis.
My feet, my knees, hips, and back.
And then they were fit with Good Feet arch supports. Clinically proven. Significant pain relief in only 4 weeks.
I'm not feeling any pain. My heel, that's where I always feel it.
Pressure off your knees?
Yeah, actually. I didn't notice any pain in my back. I feel like I could walk all day in these.
Take back the life you love and book your personalized arch support fitting today.
There's been a lot of talk about this Supreme Court race, but here's what's really at stake. Brad Schimmel wants to make sure women don't have the right to make their own health care decisions. If he wins, that right is gone. I'm Susan Crawford, a former prosecutor, a common sense judge, and a mom. And I trust women to make their own health care decisions. Brad Schimmel doesn't, but I always will. And that's why I'm asking for your vote.
Style or substance. Somehow, it became one or the other. But there is another choice. Not stopping until you have everything in the GMC Sierra. Or get 0.9% APR on 2025 Sierra 1500 models. Or get over $5,300 total value on select Sierra 1500 models.
Right now at Home Sleep Express, get an extra 7% tax relief savings plus free delivery and setup when you spend $9.99 or more on quality mattress brands like Luxuria and Thomas Cole Sleep. Tax relief savings now at Home Sleep Express.
First Warn Weather on News 8 Now. You're watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
Welcome back. Parents, check your child's medicine cabinet this morning. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says Amazon sold thousands of these bottles of Benadryl. The problem is they were sold without child-proof caps. Look for 100 milliliter bottles. They were sold between July 2023 and October 2024. Toss the bottle and email proof to the manufacturer and you will get a refund. And experts say acts of kindness may make you happier than a higher salary. The World Happiness Report is released each year on the International Day of Happiness. It is a global analysis on happiness and well-being. This year's report paid special attention to the acts of benevolence and people's expectations of their communities. The data suggests 70% of the world's population did at least one kind thing in the last month. And March Madness is, of course, here. Basketball fans will soon be cheering on their favorite NCAA Division I team. Whether you're planning to watch from your living room, a sports bar, or see the games in person, screaming and shouting can take a toll on your voice. If you're not careful, it could even lead to some permanent damage. Mandy Gaither explains how to protect your voice while cheering on your team during the madness.
It's that time of year again. Hoops, hopes, and fans cheering. But experts say prolonged shouting can actually damage your vocal cords.
Our voice is really kind of our treasure. It's part of who we are, and it's very important to take care of it.
Anne Marie Parati with the American Speech Language and Hearing Association says excessive use of the voice for extended periods can lead to lesions on the vocal cords. To avoid temporary or even permanent damage, she says to stay hydrated by drinking lots of water and avoid sodas, alcohol, or even fried, salty, or spicy foods, which can all dry out vocal cords. Next, take breaks from cheering to give your voice a rest.
It's important for fans to remember that they don't need to be the loudest voice in the room.
Parati says you can find alternative ways to cheer that don't involve your voice, like clapping or using noisemakers. Also, don't smoke or vape and avoid smoky environments, which can inflame vocal cords. After the game, soothe your throat. Sipping warm tea with honey or inhaling steam can help keep vocal cords relaxed. Finally, if you have persistent hoarseness or vocal pain lasting more than 2 weeks, it's time to see a specialist.
The longer you go without getting the help, the more damage can be done.
All right, be careful out there. Speech language pathologists can help you treat some vocal conditions. You can find one if you need one by visiting the website for the American Speech Language Hearing Association at asha.org/profind. Some news closer to home now. Western Technical College is helping people looking to advance their careers. The college hosted a business and IT career fair yesterday, featuring several employers from both industries. Attendees had the chance to meet with companies and learn about job opportunities.
We're always looking for new talent and the best talent and the next generation of kind of IT professionals to bring up in the lacrosse community here, so we can keep delivering the quality we deliver to our clients and make sure they're successful. And also, we enjoy bringing new people in and teaching them the IT space.
Western will host an IT career exploration night next Tuesday as well. And happening this weekend, check out the Wisconsin Sports Show at the Chippewa Valley Expo Center for all your warm weather gear and camping essentials. That is happening through Sunday. And the People's Food Co-op Spring Open House is tomorrow. That'll feature local vendors, free samples, and live music from 10 to 1. Winona History Center's Trail Running Film Festival will roll on tomorrow with films, raffles, food, and a full bar from 5 to 8:30. Don't forget, a La Crosse snow emergency is also still on right now. That means drivers must park on the odd-numbered side of the street today. The snow emergency is in effect till midnight tonight. Now we'll send it over to meteorologist Art Jarrett. He's got a look at our morning commute.
All right, dry and quiet on the roadways. We do have a little bit of breeze out there still. Eventually, we'll have some gusts continue to move in the forecast. It feels like it's 38 degrees out there by Toma, holding on to, I should say it feels like 30, but if it's actually 38 degrees for the local temperature. Kids going to school today, 38 degrees expected, a chance of light rainfall in the forecast for areas along the central portion of our region here, heading down to the south as well. We'll go right back into a 50% chance coming back again in the afternoon, and that will be more widespread. That will be at least a good risk of getting some snow up to the north as well, with rainfall here locally. But 34 degrees for folks going to Eau Claire here. Feels chilly and breezy out there. Heading home, though, as you get into the 4 o'clock hour or so, you're looking at least breezy conditions. Of course, you also have some chance of rainfall moving in your forecast as well today. Maybe a little bit of snow, too, later on. Here, detailed forecast for Friday for this afternoon. You're looking at, again, increasing clouds, 30s, 40s, and near 50 degrees. I suspect La Crosse will get up to about 50 degrees today for the high. We'll double check that. You're holding on to Eau Claire, holding on to 30s, 40s, 52 to 53 degrees, so much warmer, holding on to some rainfall in the forecast as well as you lead right into the evening commute. Highs for Friday, you can see everybody upper 40s, some low 50s, possibly middle 50s as you get down to Boscobel. And then finishing out, you're going to be seeing Saturdays looking pretty good for La Crosse. Sunshine abound, but then rainfall comes back later on at night, where you're going to be holding on the possibility of rainfall in your forecast. That's a look at your forecast.
Before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
All right, Mike is turning 8 weeks. He enjoys snuggling, napping, and spending time with all her family.
Hope she has a good day today. And if you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88, we'd love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website.
Still to come, it's Foodie Friday. We're going beyond the buzzwords. Hy-Vee's nutrition expert shares her secrets for smarter grocery shopping during this National Nutrition Month.
That was funny. Yeah. That's a sick bike.
Boys.
Miss Sanderson?
See you Monday.
No way.
How corrupt is Brad Schimmel? Let's count the ways. 1. Schimmel gave a plea deal to a man caught with child porn after the man's lawyer gave his campaign thousands of dollars. 2. Schimmel let 6,000 rape kits sit untested for years, then lied about it. 3. Schimmel took thousands in campaign contributions from opioid makers, then refused to go after them when opioid deaths spiked. That's Brad Schimmel, and he's way too corrupt for the Supreme Court.
Shut up. Pivot. Shut up. Shut up. Pivot. Shut up. Pivot. Shut up. Pivot. Shut up. Okay, hold on. I don't think it's gonna pivot anymore.
Just like pivoting from heating to cooling season, it's a difficult adjustment. Pivot in the summer, called GNT.
Pivot. Shut up.
Called GNT. For the best heating and air conditioning guaranteed.
To everyone who believes in
tradition, come enjoy a few of ours from Wisconsin.
People in Wisconsin love a good fish fry.
Really love. And we love sharing it with guests everywhere.
At Culver's, we still batter our North Atlantic cod by hand to order.
And we cook it to a crispy, golden perfection just for you.
For you.
For you.
So it's crispy outside, flaky inside. Let us take care of you.
With some homegrown traditions we were raised on.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
It's the Early Buy Outdoor Sale at Drury's in Fountain, Minnesota. Patio dining sets, sofas, and love seats, even loungers, they're all on sale. Take advantage of the biggest discounts of the year on outdoor special orders guaranteed. It's the perfect time to get what you want the way you want it. Plus, we'll give you free delivery on your outdoor furniture. Want it right away? We've got all our favorites in stock at pre-season prices. Big discounts and free delivery on outdoor furniture at Drury's in Fountain, Minnesota.
Voters deserve to know what our records are.
Susan Crawford's record? Disturbing and dangerous. A 7-year-old girl sexually assaulted. The attacker faced 100 years. Crawford let him off with only 4.
I don't regret that sentence.
A 5-year-old violated. The predator should have rotted in prison. He got out in just 2 years. She protected them, not us.
I don't regret that sentence. I am proud of the work that I've done.
Susan Crawford, putting criminals over your kids.
Well, good morning to you. As we get into your forecast, rainfall still trying to get across the Mississippi River here, slowly but surely by Rochester now. Finally reached there. Continues to get a little bit light to moderate down. I should say lighter down to the south as you get into Mason City, passing Mason City there. That was tracking a little bit closer towards La Crosse, but right now what we're looking at is that turning into a mix of rain and snow. It is light right now, but as it gets closer, we had a 50% chance possibly getting into the morning hours, and then rolling right back into the afternoon, we could see more of that coming back to a 40% chance moving into the afternoon, and that looks a little bit more likely of that occurring. Temperatures upper 40s, low 50s, possibly some middle 50s as you get into Boscoville. We're also going to be seeing the possibility of a gradual increase in local cloud cover continuing through the morning hours. We're going to be mostly cloudy to cloudier skies then after the sunrise time, continuing into the afternoon with rainfall sneaking into the picture. Possibly cloudy by then. You'll see a mix of rain and snow trying to get up along I-94 that crosses Ladysmith, breaks apart going towards Eau Claire. You see it by Winona, Black River Falls, as well as La Crosse, Sparta, and holding on to areas right by Austin and getting into Rochester with another batch of that coming in. That also begins to linger now, still holding on, and maybe increases in length as you get all the way down to Viroqua and Prairie du Chien and Boscoville with that light rainfall, while snow is continuing to increase up to the north as well. We have winds coming out of the southeast. We have winds eventually switching to the southwest, and then coming out of the west, working out of the northwest eventually as we go into the evening hours. So it's going to be pretty much clouds kind of moving through the area like a sweeping clock today and continuing to drag all of this moisture out of the area. By the time we get in the 8 o'clock hour, it's pretty much said and done, and it is over the river. Highs for Saturday, though, some 30s, some 40s mixed into the picture. Again, with the clouds coming in, increasing similar to what we have today. Windy conditions to breezy conditions possible in the forecast as well. Those winds coming up, working into the forecast. By the time we get into the nighttime, though, you're going to be seeing the possibility of some nighttime rainfall coming in from Saturday night going into Sunday, bringing in some light rainfall to moderate rainfall in the forecast, continuing on to the 8 o'clock hour through sunrise, swirling and tightening up with the area of low pressure between the Twin Cities there, coming all the way down and closer to us, getting across I-94 with that. Continues to drag rain and snow mix moving into the forecast for Sunday, going to the 4 o'clock hour. More of that light to moderate rainfall trailing down to the south, across La Crosse and over to Prairie du Chien, as well as Boscoville. Then more snow working in the forecast as we carry over into Sunday night, going into the overnight right into Monday, with the possibility of more snow popping in for Monday going into the sunrise time, and it's done. What we get out of that, we're going to see more along the lines of maybe a couple of inches of snow, maybe up to about 4 to 8 inches of snow. That'll also break down as we go into the evening. We'll also see as we finish out going into 50s, 40s, and more 50s in the forecast. Be safe.
March is National Nutrition Month. This year we're focusing on becoming smarter shoppers. Food labels are filled with buzzwords like natural, organic, and non-GMO. But what does all of that mean? Hy-Vee dietitian Ruthie Chips is here with us now to unveil the truth behind those food label claims and help make us into smarter shoppers. Good morning, Ruthie. Thanks for being here.
Thanks. Good to see you, Alexandra.
Good to see you. And we should say to you, Happy National Nutrition Month. To you, this
all
is
the
a big month for you.
dietitians celebrate this month of March, and we sneak have chocolate surprises. And
It's
all
your
kinds of
time
things.
to shine. What should we know about the month? Why is it important?
Well, we are focusing this year on how food connects us. So it's just such a positive kind of social environment. And now today we're looking at how the labels connect us to making healthier choices. Because it can be daunting, but I've got some quick, simple tips that can help us get through that food label and make decisions a little faster.
Yeah, that's great. I think some people can get overwhelmed with it, but what should we know?
It's the truth. Well, when you pick up a label, the first thing to do is really scan the front and see if there are any claims that they're making, whether it's health or content, and then quickly go right to the back and head to the ingredient label. And I challenge you to take a look at, this is one of our pick of the month this month, That's It bars, fruit bars. Zero in on the ingredients. Where are the ingredients? Can we pronounce them?
Yes.
How many are there? And this one has what?
Just 2, apples and blueberries, yeah.
So 2 ingredients, fruit, that's it.
That's
That's a pretty positive product.
Yes.
So remember, in descending order though, the first ingredient has the most, and then as it goes down, it's less and less and less. So zero in on that. The other thing you might want to look at is, are there health claims or content claims? Now, health claim is something where it says, you know, this may help lower cholesterol. It may also help brain health. These terms related to health have to be approved. So they're governed by the FDA. They have to check those so we can feel comfortable about those. There's other claims that you might want to look at that are content claims. So if it says organic, I've got some organic soups here. Yes, it has to be produced in an organic fashion. So those are absolutely legit. The USDA governs those.
Okay, yeah, that's good to know for
When I'm
sure.
in the store, I'm always like, I grab the labels and I'm like, oh, let's see. I go straight for the salt. So, and I'm like, oh, 5 milligrams? So I'm like, okay, let's try something a little bit less.
Exactly.
You know, that kind of,
Yeah, it can be overwhelming for sure.
The other thing you want to look at is the serving size. Very important. Because that nutrition information that you see on that boxy label there, it's based on 1 serving. It's based on the serving that is suggested. So if we consume 2 to 3 times the amount that's the label, then we're getting 2 to 3 times that amount of nutritional content.
A lot more, right?
That's good. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Any other quick tips, you know, that we can become savvy shoppers? You know, maybe busy moms. We don't have a lot of time in the aisles. What are some quick tips?
I think, you know, looking at the front and the back very quickly is your most important tip along the way. But also look for those terms that say, you know, may promote health. Look further, but feel confident. But look out for words that are more kind of marketing style, like simply or, you know, fresh. There really isn't a term for that that's governed. So try to decipher between what's a real health claim and what is actually just a marketing sort of ploy to get you to purchase the product.
To get you to buy it, right? Okay.
And make sure it's simple ingredients if you can. You know, the lesser ingredients probably the better, less processed. Because we're always talking about, can we have more whole foods in our diet? And the ancient grains that I brought, you know, the claims that you'll see on there's actually 2. So you can zero in and go, okay, gluten-free, that's a content claim. So it doesn't have any gluten, it can't have it. And that is, again, certified, accurate. And then whole grain is the other word. We're trying to eat more whole grains, and that is a content claim that also has to be accurate.
Okay. Okay, great to know there. And then you guys are also having a diabetes screening coming up.
Absolutely.
What should we know about that?
Yes, we're having the Lions Club is sponsoring a free diabetes screening this coming Tuesday, the 25th, which is National Diabetes Alert Day. We don't need appointments. You can just come to Hy-Vee. It's between 9 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. So come and see me, just check in, and we can do a quick finger prick and people can find out their blood sugar level. Actually, it's an A1C test, so they can see what the range is. So,
and do those results come immediately?
Right away.
Wow.
You meet with a dietitian, you get your results, and wham, we have some quick, immediate feedback.
And you're good to go and start shopping and looking for your healthier stuff.
Absolutely. So just come into the store. If you have questions, just call the store and ask for me.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here, Ruthie. Great to see you. We'll try our snack on our way out. And thank you for being here.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Stay with us. We're back after this.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Love it.
Go from dreaming it to driving it today.
Right now, lease a new 2024 Tacoma TRD Sport for $359 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
I think every natural instinct of a parent is to protect their children. It's It's terrifying that Susan Crawford would consider a 4-year sentence appropriate for raping a child. Honestly, I can't even wrap my head around it. That she would allow a child rapist to walk free. My worst nightmare as a mom, it's really disqualifying. I don't think Susan Crawford deserves to wear the rope.
You can see it. His potential, that is. You see it even when he may not. You see that the things that spark his interest today will in time ignite the things he pursues tomorrow. And ultimately, help him reach new heights. All he needs now is a way to make it happen. We are the Universities of Wisconsin. 13 universities, unlimited opportunity.
If your home is looking drab, trade it in.
Trade it in!
The furniture's old and yucky, trade it in.
Trade it in!
If you're seeking a solution, then King's your resolution. If you're tired of your look, then trade it in.
Trade it in!
At King's Trade-In Sale, trade in your old recliner for $50 towards a new one. Trade in your old sofa for $100. Trade in your old mattress for $75. Plus, get free delivery and 12 months no-interest payments at the King Furniture Trade-In Sale.
Trade it in!
This is our home. Family and Children's Center has been supporting families in La Crosse and Winona for over 140 years. As time has gone by, we've expanded our services to include abuse prevention, mental health treatment, and so much more. Visit fcconline.org to see how our nearly 30 programs are strengthening communities throughout western Wisconsin and southeastern Minnesota. Better tomorrows start with us.
How corrupt is Brad Schimmel? Let's count the ways. 1. Schimmel gave a plea deal to a man caught with child porn after the man's lawyer gave his campaign thousands of dollars. 2. Schimmel let 6,000 rape kits sit untested for years, then lied about it. 3. Schimmel took thousands in campaign contributions from opioid makers, then refused to go after them when opioid deaths spiked. That's Brad Schimmel, and he's way too corrupt for the Supreme Court.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Hey, there he is. Let's do this. Right now, you can get 1.99% APR for 72 months on a tough new Tundra. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back at 6:52. Time for your morning news now. President Trump moving forward with plans to dismantle the Department of Education. His executive order alone, though, won't be enough to do away with the DOE. That requires approval from Congress. They said some of the agency's programs will continue, like Pell Grants for college students and funding and resources for children with disabilities. Schools in Wisconsin rely heavily on that federal funding. According to the DPI, Wisconsin schools receive more than $800 million in federal funding. More than $568 million of that comes directly from the DOE. This money supports critical services like disability programs and school meals. State Superintendent Joe Underly says without federal backing, state and local governments would likely need to step in and fill that funding gap.
It would be devastating to Wisconsin's public schools if that funding were to go away. It may mean how else are they going to get that funding? Will they have to go to referendum to replace what was lost?
The order will need congressional approval. We reached out to Congressman Derek Van Orden for comment. We haven't heard back. We're waiting for him to get back to us. Attacks intensifying in Wisconsin's Supreme Court race with control of the court at stake. Crawford and Schimmel battling for the seat that could return conservatives to power. Both flooding the airwaves with soft-on-crime accusations. Schimmel attacked Crawford in the WISN debate for a 4-year sentence for a child sex offender. Crawford telling News 8 Now the convict hasn't reoffended and questioned Schimmel's record.
He entered a plea deal with a lawyer who was giving him $1,000 a month and whose client had thousands of files of child pornography. He agreed to a plea deal that was 1 count and the minimum sentence. I think that says a lot about Judge Schimmel's ethics and what's important to him.
Wisconsin Watch found the defendant's lawyer made monthly payments to Schimmel's attorney general campaign while the case was active.
We know that this is going to be a turnout election, so it's very important that, our voters are able to get to the polls and vote for Brad Schimmel. So, what is one way that we're able to do that? We're able to, essentially say that Brad Schimmel is a Trump ally, okay? A lot of, the policies that, Brad Schimmel stands for falls in line with the Trump agenda.
Schimmel has no control over the messages outside groups send to voters. In the debate, he said if Trump or Musk were to break Wisconsin laws, he would act accordingly. A quick reminder, News 8 hosting our mayoral debate tonight at 7 o'clock live in our studio. You can catch it on 8.2 or our digital platforms. And happening this weekend, check out the Wisconsin Sports Show at the Chippewa Valley Expo Center for all your warm weather gear and camping essentials. And the People's Food Co-op Spring Open House is tomorrow. That'll feature local vendors, free samples, and some live music from 10 to 1. Winona History Center's Trail Running Film Festival will roll on tomorrow with films, raffles, food, and a full bar. And don't forget, a La Crosse snow emergency is still on. That means drivers must park on the odd-numbered side of the street today. The snow emergency is in effect till midnight.
Lots going on over the weekend. Also, we have some cloud cover moving in today. We'll go into at least partly to mostly cloudy to cloudier skies. Then we get into Saturday, same thing comes in. Temperatures seasonal, and then we get right into Saturday night going into Sunday. Well, here it comes. A lot of rainfall and snow mixing in. That'll carry over into Monday into sunrise. Here's a look at the rainfall for Sunday, and as that carries over, some good totals kind of popping into the picture here. Eventually, as we go into it, those seasonal average temperatures ride right through most of the weekend, getting into warmer conditions as we go through next week. Be safe out there and have a wonderful week.
Thank you, Art. Well, the American Kennel Club calling the Frenchie America's sweetheart and perfect companions for all types of people. They released their top list of dog breeds. The top 6 held their rankings from last year: Labs, Golden Retrievers, German Shepherds, Poodles, and Dachshunds rounding out the list. Fun fact, our 5 a.m. producer Ace said that he would get a French Bulldog if he had the chance. Our 6 a.m. producer says he would rather have a Corgi. Maybe I'll go with a Golden Retriever on that list. I don't know. Or a Dachshund, the hard one to spell.
Golden Retriever, man.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here later today.